So yesterday I was parking in a green P, and it was a tight spot, but I was like pretty confident that I could get in. And there was this like baby boomer middle-aged looking man and his wife, and they were walking on the sidewalk right in front of the spot, and he stops and he looks at the spot and he looks at me and he goes, "Oh, this I gotta see." This kind of got to me. Here's why. One, I have hysterical road rage, but another reason is because I get that I don't look like I should be a good driver. Like, I look like I should be like manager at a Drake hotel store. Like, I understand that like if you see me on the street, I was driving behind the wheel, and I would change lanes because I'd be like, she's thinking about dogs. I get that I don't look like a good driver. But he said it with such audacity. I'm like, this I gotta see. Like, he was at like a 30s carnival, and it's like, step right up, woman reads. This I gotta see. Like, that's where that came from inside. So I made dead eye contact with him, and I knew this was risky, but I put the car in drive, and I slid perfectly into the spot, maintaining eye contact, and then I parked, and I waited. And I just stared at this guy. And he looked at the spot and he's like, "Oh yeah, good. As if he had like guided me there. And I'm like, okay, no, now I gotta say something to this guy. Because he stopped with his wife walking. And like, I looked at her, she looked exhausted. Like she had been under his thumb for 30 years of marriage. And you know, and she's probably shit out 3 kids for this guy. He comes home after work and he smells like cigars and Bay Street offices, and she is tired, and finally she gets up the courage and she's like, "Terry, I want to go to law school." And he's like, "Bethany, you can't. I don't know where food comes from." And she's like, "Terry, I have to." And he takes up her law application and he tears it and he throws it on the ground. He's like, "We're going to the keg." And she goes upstairs and she puts on her paisley dress, because what else can she do? And he puts on one of his 7 Tommy Bahama shirts and they walk to the keg. But that day they take a detour and they go through that green P, and she locks eyes with me, and I need to liberate Bethany for me and for women everywhere. So, stream of thought. So, it's not even that good of a diss, but I put my window down and I went, "Hey, are you gonna satisfy your wife anytime before you die? Because this I gotta see." And he goes, "What?" And I'm like, "Let your wife go to law school, you Republican fuck." And then she turns to me and goes, "Shut up, skank." And now I realize I may have misread this entire situation. So I back out of the spot, scrape both cars on my way out, and drive away, because that's what you do for a cause you care about. That's what you do. Yeah, I don't know if you guys could tell based on the fact that I said it or the fact that I look like a menorah, but I am Jewish. I am a Jew. I am a chosen one. So feel free to buy me drinks after this, and I can reserve you a spot in heaven. I'm kidding, Jews don't have heaven, we only have passive aggression. And I used to work as a counselor at a summer camp, and I gotta say, there's a bunch of stereotypes about Jews, and they're not all true. A couple of them are really true. And one of them is summer camp. Jews love summer camp. Summer camp and like meaty soups. Those are like the two that if you're trying to relate to a Jewish person, you're there. That's how you pick up a Jewish girl. And I was working at this summer camp, and I was a counselor for 10-year-old girls who are terrible people. Have you ever spoken to a 10-year-old girl? She doesn't have morality yet and is therefore the closest to God. You can't hurt her feelings. She will go inside and hurt who you are. Like, they're all powerful. They're terrifying. So I was a counselor there for a while, and we all share a cabin. So I was showering in the cabin one day, and there's no shower curtain because we ran out of toilet paper. And I'm shaving everything, like shaving my entire body. I was 16 and I was really scared of being Helga from Hey Arnold, if anyone remembers that show. And so I'm shaving everything, and I'm shaving my bikini area, and this camper named Belize walks in. Note, this is not her name. I cannot tell you her real name. She is a real-life human child, but I think Belize gives you the right picture of who she is. And Belize walks in with all the power of a 10-year-old bitch and just stares at me while I'm shaving in the shower. Now I'm gonna help you guys out, because I don't think you're properly picturing Belize. Now, 10-year-olds, in general, they have different archetypal bodies, because their body parts like haven't caught up with growing. Like, when I was 10, I looked like if Count Olaf fucked like Velma from Scooby-Doo and had a bastard kid, and they threw that kid into like a romper the size of a tent. Like, that's what I was dealing with. So, Belize had the body of like, everything was proportionate except for one oblong belly and a t-shirt over it that said gymnast in glitter, and I'm just like, no, you're not. Gymnast. staring at me while I'm shaving, and I think, okay, Rachel, teaching moment. Her mom's not here, gotta teach her about puberty, all that stuff. And before I say anything, she goes, "My mom says only lesbians shave. Real women wax." And she walks out of the cabin. And there are many problematic things about this statement, one of which being, if you caught that, lesbians are not considered real women in her house, which is something that needs to be addressed immediately. So I run after her and I go, "Hey, please." And she's like, "Yeah?" I like gymnasts too. I like gymnastics. Thanks so much, you guys. I'm Rachel.